Hey, look! What are these girls called? Oh, the Doomies. Okay. Well, what are we gonna use to defeat them? Sorry, I was drinking. Now my voice just kind of got a little slurpy. Or I don't know the right term, but that's some delicious food I had before I started the podcast. But yeah, anyway, welcome back, Strong Lung fans. If you are a fan of Strong Lungs, you never told me you're a big fan of this. I hope you are. Because if not, how are we gonna... Then that's just gonna be horrible, man. Why you gotta not be a big fan? I'm just kidding. I'm sure you are. But let me just say, why is my girlfriend not left turn signaled? I'm just kidding. Sorry. I'm supposed to be doing the podcast, not be doing something else. Just be in my head, talking to myself in my head. I should be talking to y'all. I should be talking to y'all, not to myself. So yeah, these girls. The girls who we got, yeah. We got a pink one, a purple one, and a light blue one. Oh, they're so cute. I could hug them all. But they're too dangerous to hug and kiss. And, so here's what I gotta do. I'm just kidding. Okay. Sorry, just had to breathe out a little bit. So I was kind of getting due to the fact of being full, I had to breathe out, you know? Sometimes deep breaths can help the digestion, or whatever the heck it is. So you're not too full. Okay, sorry, I was just trying to get my food. My dessert. The lemon heads. I was trying to get some lemon heads for dessert. But I have to do the podcast as well. You want some? I'm just kidding. You can't get some because this is a podcast. How am I gonna give you the lemon heads if I'm on the other side of the podcast? Oh gosh, it's kind of like one of the funniest things I ever said. Well, probably to me it's funny. I just love these girls. They're so cute. I'm gonna have my dessert now. Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, if I can't give you my lemon heads, then you're probably gonna have to get your own lemon heads. Unless you don't like them. Do you like lemon heads? It's okay if you don't, because I do. That's what I'm eating. Anyway, I think I had a bad turn. Sorry, there was a car outside. Looked like I live like right next to on the corner of an intersection. And then there's this car. He was turning pretty badly. He's like turning left in a no good way. Oh, now there's a Kia. I'm not sure what color it is. Might be the same color as Lordy's. Might be the same type of car as Lordy's. I'm just kidding. I'm not sure if it is. But no. Let's get to the podcast now. So, yeah. The Doomies. It's Doomie time! Let's see. How should we start this episode? Maybe let's say it starts, oh, I know a good way how we can start it. It's Fango gets ice cream, like Fango, Dimey, and Axel and Austin gets ice cream from a creamery. yeah, it opens at the creamery, but we see them coming out of it, and then they get in the car, and then that's when once they get home, and then that's when we see he opens the door, and then we see Hacker on the other side. He's like, "Ah, Hacker, what are you doing in my house unsupervised? Did you sneak in while I was in here?" Hacker said, "Yeah, sorry, man, but I had to." He said, "Why?" "Because I have to tell you the dream gate opened." He said, "What? Well, can't you tell me the dream gate opened without standing in front of my door in my house unsupervised?" Hacker says, "Yeah, I'll try." I should have realized that going into people's houses while they're gone and unsupervised or without permission is very, very illegal. Thank goodness I didn't get arrested, but I'm just glad I did it just to tell you that the dream gate opened. But I really should tell you that the dream gate opened by not entering your house unsupervised. Yeah, that's actually kind of funny in my opinion. Or let's say he was actually lying. He just wanted to trick Fangy. And then that's when Fangy says, "No, you didn't enter our house unsupervised. We invited you." He says, and Hacker says, "Ha ha, trick." Fangy says, "Dude, you can't. Fangy, can't you invite him when... Dude, I thought he was like an intruder or something." Or maybe let's just say he actually did enter his house unsupervised. Or let's say he just let's say he just tells the truth. He says, "I didn't enter your... Whoa. First of all, I did not enter your house unsupervised. Second of all, Fangy was the one who let me... I was invited in by one of your friends. Second of all, I asked if I could wait inside for Fango. And he said yes." Or he just says, whoa, I did not enter your house unsupervised. I asked Fangy if I could come in to wait for Fango so I could tell him that the dream gate opened. Or he says, I asked him if I could come in to wait for you so I could tell you that the dream gate was open, and he said yes. And then Fango realized, he says, "Oh, okay. But can you maybe, tell me without standing in front of the front door in my house? Because otherwise I'm going to think that you broke in or something. Or entered unsupervised." Hacker says, "Okay, I'm sorry. I should probably... Next time I'll try to tell you from outside, on the outside part of the front door. On the outside. Yeah, you'll be on the outside of the front door." He says, "Don't worry, I'll next time when I come to tell you that the dream gate is open, I'll tell you from the outside of the front door and not the inside, because otherwise you're gonna think..." Yeah, because otherwise Hacker was gonna think Fango was a criminal. We don't want because otherwise Hacker would have became a criminal. We don't want Hacker to be a criminal now, do we? Because otherwise he wouldn't be able to tell Fango that the dream gate opened. Because otherwise Fango might not realize that there's trouble. But hey, at least that's when he realizes that so he says, "I gotta get in my mecha suit and look around." Here's the part with, here comes the Doomy battle. Oh gosh, they're so cute. I could just hug all three of them. I love them. The Doomies. The cutest girls I ever made up. Huh. I don't know. I know I said I wanted 30 episodes. Let me see how much more room I have. Okay, I have an idea. Let's say the Doomies is this part. This part is the Doomies, and then Fango fights them. He says, "Aha, there you are." And then we'll see like another Lunerboonie show up, and then another, or maybe, and we're gonna see him fight that one, and then after that we're gonna see him fight, well, like the last one. So yeah, let's say episode 29 is the Grimlows, and in episode 30, the last episode of season 10 is the Behemoth Lady, which is pretty funny. But no, we're going through. We're not on those episodes yet. We got to get through this part. See, this episode is Fango versus the Doomies. So we see the Doomies already destroying the city. And first he kicks them, and then they get up upset. They're going, yeah, it's kind of. They just make an alarm sound. Here y'all are, people. So, the Doomies it is. Doomies. I'm just kidding. Anyway. Sorry. Strong lungs, y'all. Strong hacker. Wow.
Put him back on shit.
Okay. Sometimes you gotta talk. Never mind, sorry.
Got lemon head.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Put too many lemon heads in my mouth, so I have to take some out so I can talk to y'all. You know I'm a lemon head fan, right? Oh yeah, y'all, lemon heads. Well, I was gonna say that as I show you a picture of lemon heads, but well, at least that maybe so I don't get flagged for putting some. It'll be okay. But anyway, yeah, it's the Doomies, these girls. You know what I mean. They're the strong ones, like mine. Except Fango.
Is that what you were eating for dinner?
No, I had hot dogs and what's it called?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't remember, but it's okay, guys. Let's get to the podcast already. Sorry for being distracted like that. Just want to tell you a few stuff before we continue. Just gotta continue. You know? I don't know why my grandma thought I was having lemon heads for dinner. I had hot dogs and taquitos. That's what they're called, taquitos. It's like long burrito looking things. Well, we gotta get back to this. Yo, Doomies. Let me think. So let's say when Fango encounters them, he starts fighting them. Besides, never mind. Let me say it later. So yeah, let's say the first thing he does is he kicks them. Now, speaking of kick, I know, I didn't mean to say later, but like after one thing. I mean like say after I say something else. So yeah. So you can tell the Doomies. So yeah, the one that's wearing pink has a ribbon. The one that's wearing purple has a flower, and the one that's wearing blue has it's probably a headband. I'm not really sure what it's called. It's okay. I've seen a female cat character that wears one. It was back when I loved cat girls. I don't love all of them. I just love the ones I made up. Remember what my last video said? We ain't making no more cat girls. There's too many cat girls. I made too many of them, and it's hard to give them the right names, like good enough names. I know my grandma's probably going to be upset when she sees that, because she told me not to give up the cat girls, but unfortunately I did. Sorry. Sorry, Grandma. It's a bummer, isn't it? But yeah, anyway, let's continue the Doomies. So yeah, they fight back after Fango kicks them. They kick him back. Ah, dang, not the dog bark. Hold on. There's dogs barking. So, okay, now the dogs calm down. Finally. Okay, now we're back, y'all, on the podcast. Had to look at something to see, or had to get the Lunerboonie after this. So, but we gotta. So this is Fango. He's fighting. He's like, ah! That's why robots are funny. You should agree with robots being funny. Roby's funny. Blanco's funny. Jake's funny. Hacker's funny, and Stinky's funny. Even though maybe Hacker should, maybe at least be funny. I should probably. I don't know. Let's see. What should? I know. Sorry, guys. It's first I gotta say sorry to Grandma. Now I have to say sorry to you because of an interruption and because Grandma just really wants me to hurry up somehow. Yeah, there's only 3 of them. Fango's gonna fight them. He's fighting them. He says, "All right, Doomies. If you wanna play it that way, here it comes." And let's see what. Now, I had an idea for another tower. I don't know how it should look. Or it's called a furnace tower. It's meant for like in case strong lungs are really cold. Well, maybe they only operate in the winter. They only operate when it's really, really cold. Like they're like giant like heaters, like kind of like giant like blow dryers. And they operate when it's like really, really cold. But and some strong lungs don't really, and strong lungs do not like the cold. So that's why they built furnace towers for strong lungs in case strong lungs are being too much, like if they're really cold and they're not enjoying it, because of course they don't enjoy the cold. So yeah, that's what Fango's gonna use to defeat these girls. Like, yeah, furnace towers are for heating, like standing by. Like they have maybe like a fire inside them, so you can warm up at, or they're just like giant heaters that you can warm up at. They only operate in the winter. But like each side, like the 2 sides, one across from the other. Like one side will turn on, but then the other side will turn off. It's just to heat up. Yeah, it's just for it's just to keep yourself warm. It's to keep that cold. It's to cool. It's time to warm the cold off of ya. That's why furnace towers are built in strong lungs. I don't know how they should look, but I have some plans for a furnace tower. Yeah, strong lungs. Yeah, cause like maybe like when it snows or when it's really cold outside, and strong lungs are maybe like if there's a shiver in strong lung, cause he's really, really cold. He's like, "Brrr, it's cold." Yup, something like that. He says, "Oh look, a furnace tower." Yeah, he'll just come up to the furnace tower, get some heat off of it, so he can warm it. He says, "Ah, much better." See, that's why strong lungs has furnace towers, but they only operate in the winter. Or let's say they actually have like a fan mode, like they have air conditioning mode if it's like spring or summer. They don't. Well, they probably wouldn't operate in the spring, because spring is like perfectly good weather. Maybe they would, but they only operate the fan if like the sun is sweating them. Well, they will definitely operate in the summer. They're like really, if their strong lungs are like really, really hot. So yeah, they turn on fan mode in the summer, and in the winter they have heat mode. They work like a heater in the winter, and they work like an air conditioner in the summer. If people are like really, because Because if you're sweating to death and you need to get some like cool air fast, run up to the furnace towers and get some cool air. Here. But I'm having some ideas for a furnace tower. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if they're red, that means they're letting out. They have like a light on them. It says like, and then the light is red when it's letting out heat, but when it's blue, it means it's letting out cool air. So people aren't too hot. Just like dogs. It's probably one way, you probably could like turn on the air conditioner, maybe like turn on a fan, like put like an air conditioner in the car so your dog doesn't get too hot. No, it's not meant to work like that. Besides, Strong Lungs, if you're wondering if Strong Lungs has pets, they do. Most of them are, but most of the pets are just like yellow cloud looking creatures, or they're just like women that they're just these yellow clouds. That's actually how the like air elemental from the last fight, like the elemental fight, that's how she came to life, is that the master of the Lunerboonies corrupted one of the clouds, or he just like possessed them. He just totally possessed it, and then the cloud formed into the giant yellow air elemental girl. These clouds you can ride on. It's kind of funny. Now in Strong Lungs, these yellow clouds are actually meant, they do act like dogs a lot. It's actually kind of funny. I'm sure there's like a lot of like strange unknown alien like creatures, like even ones that don't have faces, that acts like dogs, Now this one's, let's say that maybe Fango gets it, or maybe let's say it's maybe it's who is it? It's maybe Boomer, or maybe it's Sid that has it. I don't know which characters I normally use. Maybe it's Lecter. Say it's Lecter, the book, who owns one. Yeah, he says. Yeah, but hey, anyway, let's just get back to the battle. So, yeah, the furnace towers are pretty crazy. But yeah, furnace towers, well, they're not crazy, they're helpful, but hey, at least the Doomies, that's what Fango had to use to defeat them. He uses them, let's say he puts them to a high temperature, and then they warm up their metal and it actually melts them. Let's say he turns up the heat really, really high, that it just, let's say that maybe fire comes out of it. And then when they touch it, he jumps, and then they touch it with their wet hands. And then it moltens the metal they're made out of. Yeah, it's not pretty strong metal at all. Let's say that like they're the molten metal and like, or I don't know if that's possible. Let's say that it hits it, but when they punch the tower, it explodes on them. And let's say the explosion throws them so high into the air that they come crashing down somewhere in the forest, and then once they slam, they just, like, due to how hard they hit the ground, a machine, if if a computer or radio or like any type of like technology like hits the ground really hard, it's gonna stop working. It's something like that. Like they hit the ground really hard, and then they just their eyes just turns off. Like maybe they would just turn off completely. Like they would just turn off. Like yeah, like if you like throw or like a computer or radio or something, and it hits the wall or the ground really. If it hits a wall or hits the ground really hard, it's either like gonna break. Yeah, I mean, of course it's gonna break. It's either just gonna turn off and never turn on again. Like yeah, or it's just gonna like make a weird like glitch. It's gonna like make like the computer. If it's a computer, it's gonna have like a glitch in screen. For a radio, it'd make like an annoying sound. It's probably gonna make like an annoying sound. But these girls, they just, or it's but sometimes they're just gonna turn off. They're just gonna turn off and then not turn on. Because they're just permanently off. Even if you, yeah. Something like that, and they just hit the ground really hard and they, or maybe let's say they just break and, like, they just break and they go like, and like, they just, like once the furnace tower explodes, they come flying into the air and they come crashing down like, ah! They hit the ground so hard and then break into so many pieces. It's actually like they just like smash, like they shatter, like, well, they don't shatter, they're like all like the metal that they're made of breaks, or maybe let's say it's not even metal they're made out of. Let me look at something real quick. Okay, I looked at it, I didn't know, but it didn't like have any way that I could explain this better. So like, yeah, they just fall, like they just get thrown into the air like really high, and then they fall hundreds of feet back, like all the way back down, and then once they hit the ground, they like they just break into like their metal just breaks open, like their like bodies just breaks open, like maybe like they're like, it's just like they just go like they just smash into pieces. Even though I wouldn't say they like shatter, because probably only glass could shatter. But these girls are made of metal. But yeah, they just like break open like once they hit the ground. Like they're like maybe like the back of their head just goes like just like breaks right open. And like cords, like you'll see like electricity come out of them. Let's say that maybe oil comes out of them. And then their eyes and their mouths stops lighting up, like they turn off completely because they're destroyed. Or maybe let's just say they landed on their face. Or like one landed on their face. Let's say one actually landed in a pond. These things are awfully. This is actually probably these are probably the cutest. These are probably the cutest Lunerboonies I made. But we don't stop there. That's when we get to this Lunerboonie. Because then, after Fango, after Fango defeats the Doomies, this one is called, we'll just call her the Mudhead Lady. You see, she's got like two circular eyes and a circular mouth. Well, yeah, but like after Fango, well, let's say, but before we get to her, I gotta finish Fango. Like Fango, after he defeats the Doomies, he says, "What you gonna do now, huh? What you gonna do?" Or let's say he just cheers and says, like, "Woo! I got her! I got them!" One actually lands in the middle of a city, while one lands in a neighborhood, and one just lands in a lake. I know, sorry. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, after he says, yeah. And that's when we get the day 2 time card. We see that he's fighting. He says, we see this lady's just shooting. We see like beams coming out of her eyes and her mouth. She's like, whoa. And everything's being destroyed until Fango shows up in another mecha suit. Let's say it's like a giant, like, let's say it's actually like a mecha suit with big wheels. Like it's got like claws, like big sharp claws, and he just tries to scratch the living. She attacks first, or she tries to attack, but Fango like scratches her with the claws, Like, yeah. Yeah, he's the... That was a pretty strong Lunerboonie. Or maybe it doesn't need wheels, it's just... Or maybe it could use wheels. It's actually like a big cube looking Lunerboonie. This kind of looks like a I don't know what it is. It's like a big, like, I wouldn't say it's a bell. It's like kind of like these 3D trapezoid looking things, whatever they're called. I'm not sure what they're called. And then it's kind of like that, and then the mouth opens up, and we see, and that's when we see that the mouth has 3 weapons in it, or like 4. Let's see. It's got machine guns and rocket launchers and naval guns and cannons. And that's when he... Well, actually, let's save that one for the next one. Or let's say he actually just... Let's say that actually works. Let's say this slave was like almost as big as... And he just fires off all the weapons when the mouth opens up. Like the teeth just... Like kind of opens like a garage, it's got like the mouth opens like a garage door, and that's when we see all the weapons shoot at her. They go like, we see she's getting we can actually see that it's badly damaging her. She's like going like, she makes like a face. Her like circular eyes. She makes like sad eyes and sad mouth. And like, ah. Well, I'll show you what she looks like what I mean when she gets shot by all of Fango's weapons. It's like all the firing on her. It's just badly damaging her. It's actually taking her out real good. He's like, woo! Look at this. We see that. Let's say even the arms like. He's like, whoa, he's doing this with his arms because he's enjoying defeating this Lunerboonie. This is actually a good one to defeat, by the way. Now this is, but I know I said Fango actually used a plant, but actually, let's say she, let's use a blimp for the next one. Yeah, let's say that, that they just, filled the, well, actually, no, we were still on this one. This is, we'll call her the Mud, she's called the Mudhead lady. So yeah, the Mudhead, this one's called the Mudhead. I'm not sure if I told you what she's called, but yeah, she's the Mudhead. Fango shot her so many times. Let's say she actually knocks down a monitor tower. And she knocks over a monitor tower, and then the tower falls on her and defeats her. So like, ugh. And yep, that did not feel good. Especially on her. Now here's the one that gets defeated with a blimp. Funny, right? I said blimp. This one's called the Ruler. Yeah. And the creature, and I spelled it, yeah. You know how that's spelled? It's R-O-O-L-E-R. Ruler. She's pretty dangerous. She's another alien type. She's like another alien, but yeah, she's like another alien. She's actually confirmed to be an alien beast. You could call her the alien beast girl. And then all of a sudden, that's when you see her up to no good. Because her and Fango are fighting. And they're going, And that's when Fango says, that's when we see a dude coming in with a blimp full of hydrogen. He says, "Strike her!" And then once the blimp hits her, it explodes and kills her. So yeah. Don't mean to make up new Lunerboonies. I just have more ideas. And that's when we cut. And Fango says, "Thanks, man." And then that's when we cut. And that's when we cut to the master of the Lunerboonies. Another episode with the master of the Lunerboonies. Says, "Oh! Well, there goes the ruler." He's saying, "What am I gonna do with this guy? How am I gonna get rid of this son of a gun?" He says, "This guy is too strong. Can't." Yeah. He says, How am I gonna get rid of this son of a car crash?" I don't know. And then he says, "For exploding out loud. I can't believe this guy. He says, I'm gonna." Yeah, 'cause Strong Lungs they like explosions. Yeah, that's why they say, for exploding out loud. So what am I gonna... He says, for exploding out loud. What am I gonna do with this son of a car crash? That's what he calls Fango. He just says son of a car crash, for exploding out loud. That's actually a good idiom. Those are two good idioms for Strong Lungs. So I gotta do something with him. First I just gotta get rid of... But what am I gonna... Which Lunerboonie am I gonna use now? Scratching and thinking. Gotta think of something. He says, "Aha!" Yep. That's when an idea pops up in his head. "I have a great idea. This is a job for the Mutant girls." And it says, "Don't harass us," even though they don't. He says, and you can see they're colorful ones. We see the color red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, black, and white. Yup. Those are actually 8 colors. Yeah. There's actually 8 of them, but hey, they're still cute. That's when we cut. He says, "I'm gonna hear." He says, "Now it's time for you." He says, "You girls ready?" We don't see them yet. We just see him open. We just see. It's kind of like the camera angle's facing away from them, but facing towards him. He says, "You girls ready for your turn?" We see their shadow, and we see their shadow nod their head up yeah. We see them see their shadow nod their head up yes. Says, "Good. I would like for you to go out there and get rid of that idiot." He says, "Get rid of that jerk." Or he's got to say something. He says, I would like for you to go out there and get rid of that whatever he calls him. He's got to call him something he says he's got to call him a name, call him maybe a jerk, or like a silly term for jerk, like let me see, maybe Gus Ball, or let's say he calls Fango a dust ball. He says, "Now, I would like for you to go out there and get that dust ball, and get rid of that dust ball." Yeah, or he says, "And destroy that." And then he says, "I would like for you to go out there and destroy that dust ball who keeps defeating and winning against my Lunerboonies. I hope you are strong enough to fight him. He says, "You ready?" And then we see their shadows nod their head up. Yes, again. He says, "Good." He says, and then we cut to him saying, "This is gonna feel good." That's when we hear this, that's when this evil, suspense cue plays. As we're slowly zooming into his face. And that's when we cut to, Dimey at the harbor, listening to music while he's watching a night storm approach. He says, "Wow, this is fun." Or he just said, yeah, maybe he should say that when it cuts to him close to her. And then we're showing, what's going on? So yeah, Fango is, okay, there was a car. Sorry to get distracted by a car, but yeah. So yeah, Dimey is out at, we see that, that's when we see, that's when we see one of the mutant lady. Yeah, we see he's just minding his own business at the harbor, listening to music while a storm approaches. But then all of a sudden, that's when we pan over to the water, where, to the direction that the storms come from. Now, not only is a storm coming from that direction, that's when we see a big blue fin come out of the water. Yeah, that's the blue mutant lady. And Dimey doesn't see him. He's not even noticing. He doesn't even see it coming. He's just looking up at the storm. He's just looking up at it, not realizing that there's something big coming. Let's say there's a dude right next to him who notices the fin, but Dimey still doesn't. He's trying to let Dimey know. But Dimey is he says, "Hey," he says, "What's that? Hey, kid." He's telling Dimey to leave. He says, he's trying to tell him that there's something big in the water heading this way, but Dimey doesn't listen because he can't hear him over his headphones, because he's wearing headphones. The reason, yeah, strong lungs don't have ear muffs or whatever they're called, earplugs or whatever. I don't know what they're called. The reason why strong lungs don't have those is because when you have them, they just easily fall out of your ears. Yeah. That's the problem with earplugs, because they fall out of your ears when you're trying to wear them, because they easily just fall out and just pop, they just fall out of your ears, and it's hard to shove them in. That's why you're trying to shove them in, but they still end up falling out. Now that's why Strong Lungs has headphones that can, because they're more supported, because they don't fall off when you wear them. They're just completely on your ears. They hold more tight than earplugs do. Or I don't even know what the right term for these things are. Yeah. But yeah, Dimey's listening to it. He can't hear it over his headphones and his phone, because he's listening to music. He's saying light, 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 and then he starts singing along to a song, and then after he starts, that's when this guy says, "Kid!" Let's say he picks up a rock and throws it in the water to get his attention. And that's when he says, "Huh?" And that's when he pauses the song and says, "Did you throw that rock into the water?" "Yes, I did." He says, "That was cool, man." He says, "Does this mean we're playing a rock throw game?" He says, "I'm going to do it while listening to my music." And then he puts his headphones back on. He says, "Hey, here's some rocks." And then he starts listening to music. He says, "No, kid, you don't understand." Dimey isn't listening, and that's when we see the big blue lady come out of the water. He says, "Kid, run!" But Dimey still doesn't listen. Turns out the big blue mutant lady we see, she's the first one we see. And she is a shark. She's a giant shark lady. Yeah. I'll tell you what each species, each color is. Or each creature. Now the red one is a crocodile. Yeah, and the orange one's a scorpion. It's actually a scarl, which is a person that's half scorpion. And we got the yellow one's a harpy, which is a person that's half bird, and the green one's a Naga, which is a person that's half snake. Yeah, and the blue one's a shark, of course, and the purple one's a Cecilia, which is a person that's half octopus. And the white one, and the maybe let's do the black one. Yeah, the black one is a Drider, which is a person that's half spider, and the white one is a whale person. And then the one we're seeing right now is the blue one. She attacks the harbor. Now what's funny is when the storm's getting closer is that we see her get struck by lightning, and it causes her to fall. It kind of just pushes her. It just strikes her right in on the left side of her head. She's like, ow! She falls onto the harbor, and then Daimi looks up, but she falls too far before Daimi could even see her. And then that's when she falls on the train cars, and then they explode, and the explosion even spreads to the explosive chemicals on the ship, and then the ship explodes too, and Daimi notices it. He says, oh no! And he says, oh no! But at first Daimi thought it was the light. He thought it was the storm that struck the explosive. At first he thought the explosive cargo. Yeah. At first Daimi thought it was the lightning that struck he thought it was the storm that struck. Yeah. At first he thought it was the lightning that struck the explosive cargo. And that's when Daimi calls the fire department and tells them that the harbor, that lightning just struck explosive cargo at the harbor and caused a big explosion. And then that's when he walks away, and then the blue shark lady gets hurt. She's saying, ow! Well, she doesn't say. Well, actually, let's say she says it. Okay. So yeah, she gets up. The blue creature says, she gets up and says, ow! It's you know how she's in a raspy female voice. Well, let's say it's not very raspy. She gets struck by lightning. She says, ow! She just says it in a lady, maybe just a normal lady's voice, but that's the only word we hear her say. And then that's when the harbor worker says, it wasn't the storm that caused the explosion. It was her. And then he just kind of tells the kid, alright, he just kind of tells Daimi, but in his head, he just says that it wasn't the storm that caused the explosion, kid. He just wasn't the storm that caused the explosion, kid. But Daimi couldn't hear him. Then that's when the fire. Then she just leaves. She says, That's when Fango says that. That's when Daimi realized. Daimi doesn't believe in them. That's when we see a snake. That's when we cut to Road Falls, where actually it's Jade Forest. That's when we see the giant crocodile lady come out of the water, and she jumps out from the water and scares people. They go ah! And everybody says ah! She says. Then Daimi sees that he goes, there was an explosion at the courthouse. That's when and after we see her destroy the courthouse, we see that she can actually breathe fire. Or no, she came from the water. She shouldn't breathe. Let's say she just threw a tanker truck. He said, that's when Fango sees. That's when Hacker tries to rush to Fango, saying that the drain gate opened. But let's say that this one, these Lunerboonies are trying to prevent Hacker from telling Fango. And that's when we see the heartbeat stop. Hacker says, she's like, she just nods her head no and nods her finger no, like, she's saying, like, don't you dare tell Fango that we're here. And then she grabs Hacker and flies away. And then that's when we see Fango. He wakes up. That's when we see he's like distracted. And he doesn't. That's when we see her with Hacker tied to her. She ties Hacker to her neck. But like at least she didn't strangle herself. And then he contacts Fango. Well, he doesn't. That's when he says. Yeah, we don't get to that part yet. He's looking around saying, is everything okay? He says, he's just having his day in Green Ridge. Let's say he's doing all sorts of stuff. Then we cut. That's when we cut to the Scorpion Lady who appears. Let's see, what cities do I have? Let's look. What are my cities called? Where are my cities? So let me see. Where are my cities? Probably put my stuff on top of them. Gotta find them. Let's see, where is the cities? You see all sorts of the stuff. You see that the Lunerboonies prevents Hacker from telling Fango that the dream gate opened. And so Fango's just completely distracted because the Lunerboonies kidnapped Hacker, so he couldn't tell Fango that they came through the dream gate. It's actually one way to prevent Fango. I guess that's one way to keep Fango out of battle business. But fortunately, what they tried didn't work. Didn't turn out the way they thought it would. But let's see, where are my cities? Come on, thing, I need these cities. And I need them like right now. Where are they? Sorry guys. But yeah. It's funny when you notice that Hacker. Let me look around. Hold on guys, gotta find my paper. It's buried somehow. Okay, I found it. Let's see, let's say she attacked the Scorpion Lady, attacked West. Let's say we need like places that we haven't done yet. The Spider Lady attacks Ball Creek, and we see the battle. We see the Scorpion Lady attacks. Say she's attacking. Let's say she's attacking Hornview, and Snake Lady's attacking. Say she's attacking Heartland. Let's say she's attacking Grillborn, and the Whale Girl is attacking Penford, wherever that is. Where is Penford? Penford. Where's Penford? Well, let's say she's attacking Night Harbor's not a coastal city. We need like a coastal city. Let's say that the snake lady, like the spider lady, fights her way into. Let's say the snake lady fights her way into, like, Grillborn, like from Night Harbor to Grillborn, and the scorpion lady fights her way from, like Heartland to Weberton. Or I think I already did a Weberton battle. Or the spider lady fights her way from Bald Creek to where should she go? Let's say she goes to Storm Hills. She fights her way, or let's say she fights her way to Farm Port. And then that's when we see the whale lady. Her battle goes from Penford. There's Penford. Let's say the whale lady was attacking, like, Penford, and then she fighted her way to, say she attacked Hammer Valley. The crocodile lady fighted from Jadesboro to Star Lake, or no, Jade Forest, not Jadesboro, and then the whale lady fighted her way from Penford to St. Auburn, and then Hammer Valley. Let's do the behemoth, like Leviathan girl in Hammer Valley, and then the octopus lady fights her way from, like, she fights her way from Phone Bay. Say she goes to Phone Bay to let's say Hammer Valley. Let's say she attacks Hammer Valley. Or maybe she could attack, maybe no, Shellfield, maybe Sockgate, or maybe let's say she attacks Semi-Truck City. Or no, that's where the shark lady came in. She fights her way from, let's say she just continues the fight. And she starts from there and then goes into Sockgate, and the octopus lady fights from, let's say she goes to she goes from Phone Bay to Hammer Valley. That's when we see the battle. We see their battles. We see all sorts of stuff they're destroying. That's when we see like pretty much everything get destroyed. That's when Fango's distracted because the harpies, she fights her way from she fights her way from Crown Rapids to Fort Stone, or to Neworth. Let's do the battle or let's do it in Fort Stone. No. I think Neworth's good enough. Weberton, yeah. Well, the battle in starts from Storm Hills and then goes to Weberton. Let's say that's, or like Grillborn to Weberton. That's where she attacks. Maybe that's the scorpion lady. I think the snake lady was in Grillborn. But still. Or maybe it was like Weberton to Storm Hill. Or Storm Hill to Weberton, yeah. She attacks them, they're just like going they're just going crazy. That's until Fango arrives. Fango realizes, that's when Hector realizes that he could tell Fango on his phone. After Fango, we see him hanging out with Daimi, Axel, and Austin. He finally tells them that there's trouble. He warns Fango once they arrive home. He says, "Fango, I need your help. I was gonna try and tell you that the Dream Gate just opened, but one of the Lunerboonies that came, but then I was cornered." He says, "Well, what's wrong?" I'm a Lunerboonie kidnapped me." "What?" He says, and then Fango says, "This is going too far." He says, "What?" And then Hacker says, "Yeah, they kidnapped me so they could prevent me from telling you that they came through the dream gate. Fango says, this is going too far. Yep. Well, that actually just popped up as I was saying it. Yeah. And yep, it is going too far. It went too far. And then Fango, that's when he gets in his mecha suit. He says, where are you right now? I'm in New Earth. Here, go for the one. Let's say let's see, which one she attack? Maybe okay, so let's say, I know the shark lady, let's say look, go for the crocodile, the red monster first. She's in Gluesburg. Attack her quick. And then he fights her, and then he says, here, go from the red one to here, do it in order. First fight the red one, and then the orange one, and then the yellow one, and then the green one, then the blue one, then the purple one, and then the black one, and then the white one. Yeah, we see like all the destruction. I'll tell you what they destroy. Like each structure they destroy. Let's just say they just go everywhere, but the octopus, shark, and whale stays in the coastal seas. We just see them destroying everything there. They say that's when, and then Fango. And this one of them actually, Fango gets devoured by, he fights each one of them, but he ends up being devoured by the shark lady. Let's say some of them devoured him. Let's say he was devoured by the whale, and then he says, you can't swallow me. He actually throws like a commercial. He grabs commercial villains. Says, the whale lady tries to swallow him, and then he throws the commercial building at he actually like touches her uvula and then throws the commercial building at it. Then she chokes, and then he comes out. She vomits him out, and then he throws it at her, and then she kills him. The octopus lady tries to, first she bites his arm, but Fango throws it. He actually ends up completely in, let's say the whale lady was the one who devoured him. He says, you can't eat me, I'm Fango. He says, I'm too strong to be eaten. He says, I'm too strong to be eaten alive. That's what he says. Then he fights the shark lady. He says, you may have tried to stop me, but I'm too strong. And then after he fights all the Lunerboonie battles, he returns home. And then he says, I'm going home now. And when I do, and if another Lunerboonie battle happens, he says, he says, and if another Lunerboonie shows up, it better not be, the battle better not be like this, ever again. Because otherwise, I'm just gonna lose my gosh darn mind. And then he leaves. He says, you have been warned. Person who's, he says, if that person, and that's when he says, now listen here, whoever is sending these Lunerboonies, if you send one more Lunerboonie, I'm gonna blast through the dream gate. Or no, he says, I'm not dealing with any more Lunerboonies today. That's enough fighting. Because for now, that's enough fighting for today. I'll fight tomorrow if another Lunerboonie comes through the dream gate. And then the master says, and then we cut to the master of the Lunerboonies, and we see him grunting, like, you stupid freaking dust ball. Or let's say he says Nimrod. He says, you stupid freaking Nimrod. How could did you? The white one nearly had it. I can't believe it. That was my only idea. But gosh, why is this so hard? He says, I guess he's like crazy. He's going crazy. He says, you know what? I had it. I'm done for today, said the master of the Lunerboonies. Tomorrow, I'm gonna send one so strong I'm gonna send one so strong that idiot won't be able, and that huge mechanic moron, or wherever those huge mechanic morons won't be able to won't be able to win one bit against her. And then he leaves, and then he walks away. And then we cut to Fango. Jeez. And then we see him kind of like back. That's when we get a time card that says the next day. That's when we see Fango wake up from his bed. He says, yesterday was very rough. I hope today's good. Even if another Lunerboonie comes through the dream gate. I'm just more upset because that they tried to prevent Hacker from telling me that they came through the dream gate. Well, that's just gonna... But what I say, if the Lunerboonies ever tries to do that, that's just gonna get them in even more big trouble. They tried to prevent Hacker from telling me that they showed up. It's not gonna work. I'm just gonna beat the living snot out of them as hard as I can. Or he just explains. He says, then Hacker says, oh, doorbell rang. He says, oh, hey. He says, oh, no. Hacker. He says, oh, no. He says, oh, hey, Hacker. He says, wait, the dream gate didn't just open, did it? He says, no. I came to give you your reward. He says, oh, geez, thanks, man. I say, I'm sorry. He says, yeah, I'm sorry that the Lunerboonies kidnapped you, so he says, yeah, thanks, Hacker. And then he says, I'm sorry the Lunerboonie. He says, I'm sorry those Lunerboonies kidnapped you, so they could make it where you... He says, I'm sorry those Lunerboonies kidnapped you. He says, nah, it ain't your fault. It's their fault. He says, of course it is. The next time a Lunerboonie does that, it's not gonna stop you. It's not gonna stop them from letting me know. It's not gonna... He says, if the Lunerboonies ever does that, it's not gonna stop me from knowing that they came through the dream gate. All it's gonna do is get them into even more trouble. Understand? He says, get it? Yeah. Yeah, dude, I get it. Bingo says, and then that's when we see Axel and Dimey. That's when we see Dimey, Axel, and Austin. They say, Fango! A Lunerboonie asteroid egg a Lunerboonie just crash land on Earth right behind our house. And then that's when we get a suspense cue. And then Fango says, what? But right after Fango reacts to them, that's when the episode ends.